Alright guys, so a week later, I still don't have my transmission. I do have my backup one right there that I picked up, but that's not rebuilt, high mileage one. I have a rebuilt one that's coming in, and while I'm really tempted to put that in, I'm gonna go and actually wait. Now what I'm gonna try to do today is I'm actually gonna try to take off the transmission, at least to prepare it for when the transmission or the rebuilt one gets here, probably, or I'm hoping at least in a couple days. Now I don't remember if I tried to take off the transmission at some point without taking off the engine, but I'm gonna try today. I have a lot of stuff on this car right now, and I really don't want to have to do that. So let's see if we can take out just the transmission, and in the future I will at least know whether or not I can or cannot do that, especially with, you know, the status of this transmission not lasting on this car right now. Alright guys, so I have everything on the top removed. Now because I don't have all the factory stuff, I think it's going to be doable for me. Now if you have all the stock stuff, I could see why it's going to be pretty hard, but for me right now it's pretty accessible. The only thing that I need to make sure I need to do is I need to support the engine in the front, because the way my engine mount is, which is about right here, I feel like it's going to tip over a little bit. So I need to support the front and then kind of drop the transmission somehow. Now to make it a little bit easier, I think I'm gonna have to remove the axle guard, or whatever this covered thing is called. From the bottom you can see that it's gonna hit the cross member right here. So if I remove that, I should be able to drop the transmission, and then the transmission mount itself, I'm gonna have to actually remove this bolt and then that bolt, and I should be able to slip it in right in this area right here. If not, I could slide it back a little bit and then just drop it. That should be good. So somehow my transmission developed a leak, and there's nothing on the ground, but I don't know if that's like enough that I didn't get enough fluid in the transmission, but yeah, leak is never good. Cool. That leaves us with 2 axles, 1 drive shaft, and an axle cover, and of course the actual transmission mount, and then they'll be able to take off the bolt from the engine bay, or from the engine. Alright, gonna have to go full sketch mode on this one. I don't have a way to hold up the transmission. Let me show you guys what's going on with this thing. So not ideal, but I think it's good there. I'm gonna have to make something for that, like tomorrow, because putting it back is gonna be impossible. Yeah, I know I can get it down just like this because it's not that heavy, right? But putting it back on, I'm gonna need to do something with the jack. And just an FYI that my jack's reach isn't very far, so if I had a bigger jack, I guess I could buy a bigger jack too. That could be the other option. Oop. Alright, so short answer is yes, I can get it down. Putting it up is going to be a challenge. So I just finished draining the transmission. I already spilled some outside, but as you guys can see, it's not a good sign, but of course we already knew that. Alright guys, so let me show you where it was leaking. So as you can see right here, this looks like it's a source of a leak, but also this whole side right here where the diff would be. The odd part is I always check at the bottom of the car and I wasn't seeing any leaks, so I'm kind of wondering if that's kind of happening when I'm going all out and whatnot. Not sure, but clearly there's some leaks going on and I failed to catch that, so I'm gonna have to do better next time. Alright, so I'm gonna go take this apart. I want to see the center diff to see how that is. It should be good, but you never really know. So we'll open it up. Cool. I'll make sure to keep the spacers in here. I'm already getting, let's see if that focuses on the camera. I'm already getting that flakes in here, so definitely have to open it up regardless anyway. Now keep in mind guys, this is the first time I've ever opened a transmission, so take it for what it is. I would definitely recommend watching somebody that's, you know, like a pro. But for the most part, the way I approach gears like this is if I see a red flag like shearings and bearing wear and all that, I will definitely see that, or at least to me that's pretty obvious. There might be some things like a setting or a play, like is this normal right here, right? I might not know that. So the bearing feels fine, that looks to be good, but the gears on the other hand, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but there's already some wear on that. So I don't plan to reuse this at all, or I won't be reusing this one at all. And it looks like it's pretty even throughout all of them. Now I'm gonna guess that the diff is also gone, but I still want to open it up just, you know, for my own knowledge base and kind of understand how that gets put together and all that. Alright guys, so it is finally here. Took a little bit longer than anticipated. Basically there was some issue with my phone number. The seller put in the wrong number and they called that number. I tried to correct it, but for whatever reason it wasn't corrected. But it is here and we are gonna check this out. So originally I was just gonna go with a stock transmission, which I did pick up another one right there as a backup. But I figured, you know what, I'll try to rebuild one to see how that shifts. And by the looks of it, looks like it included a few things, like one, you know, looks like a spare axle there. Oh man, yeah. Looks like it's been upgraded also. I mean, look at the linkage right here. You got the solid linkage. Oh, that's a shame. I just bought one for my car, and it's including also that part. So got some extra goodies, which is cool. I'll keep it as a backup for now. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it. Oh man, it's such a shame though, because I just bought them brand new. Could have saved some extra cash there, but you know what? It is what it is. Let's go ahead and cut this all zip ties off, and we can get a good look at all the parts that are included and its overall condition, at least externally. Good to go. Now this thing has the, what is that, the 4-to-1 mod on the center diff. Originally I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't actually considering it at all, but came with a transmission, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it out. Otherwise my only other option is, well, I can't use that one, right, because of the diff being bad, but this one I should be able to use. So I could go back if I'm not too happy with the way this thing performs. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm kind of looking forward to it because I want to do some auto X anyway, so that might be good. So I went ahead and drained the transmission fluid, and I don't know what kind of oil the previous owner was using, but it didn't look too bad. Alright, so the fluid I'm going to be using is Gear 300, and what you typically do with this is you fill it up through this hole right here, and then you fill it until it basically starts coming out. Now because I have the transmission out and I don't want to go through that trouble of having to fill up with a pump, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fill it with about 2.7 or so liters, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the plug in, and when I put the transmission back in the car, get it leveled, then I'll unplug that, and then all whatever excess will fall out of that. Alright, so I forgot to record this, but basically I ended up having to trim the top part right here. It shifts fine, right, when you go into, what is that, 4th gear, but if you go to 2nd, it's gonna be hard to show here. With this linkage, that's how much clearance I have. So it was making contact because with a cooler work shifter, this thing is extended up instead of being all the way to the bottom here, or at least right here. It's now making contact with this. So trim that a bit and we're good to go. Now one thing I'm also doing now is I need to actually swap up this axle stub, whatever they're called, because good thing I checked, but that's a different one than this one. This one is smaller. I'm not sure what this thing came out from. So I want to show you guys this carnage right here. Check this out. Come on. All right. So that's one of the problems. Well, actually, there's like a little metal piece right there already. And you can see there's damage right there. Right. Now it looks like it should just, yep. Cool. Now look at this. Look at all that metal. It looks like all the shavings from there. Alright, so the transmission is ready to go. I already replaced the 2 output shaft. It's just 1 bolt on each side, right, and then that slid right in and then slid right out. So good to go. I don't know what this thing is called, but whatever this thing is called, that's put back and it's ready to go. But before we put it back inside the car, there's one more thing I need to do in the inside. Alright, I was gonna show you guys this portion, but it's nothing special. I just taped it all the way around and then painted it silver. My main intent is just to cover the metal part. I didn't want that to rust out, so I'm covering that, and I'm not really too concerned about how, I guess, it kind of looks right now, because I still have a lot of cleaning. As you can see, still have all that sound deadening on there. So once I revisit the whole interior, and when I do that, it's gonna be when everything gets cleaned up in here. Then I'll do one kind of paint job for the whole thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this tape, and we'll get a good look at how that kind of matched the whole interior. Cool, not too bad. I'm actually pretty excited about this one because, like I said before, it was really just put my elbow in a really bad position. So having it this forward should make a big difference. So I'm ready to put the transmission back in. This is going to be a little bit tricky to lift up, and what I'm trying to do right now is I'm using the engine hoist right here. I have this chain, and if you look in the transmission, I have a hook essentially right there. And the idea is I'm going to be able to lift all the weights off the transmission, and then all I need from the back side is just to kind of angle it to match my clutch. I'm a little bit winded because yeah, my main concern, however, is that my firewall right here, or the false firewall, that little hook is way past it. It's probably like somewhere on this line right here, so that means the chain could be going down and then kind of at an angle. So that's a concern, but we shall see. My concern was valid. So you guys can see it's making contact with a false firewall right there, but it's going up pretty smooth. So I just gotta go take it easy, nice and slow, and I should be able to get her on there, and we should be good to go. Alright guys, so this is gonna be a little bit hard to see here, so I'm just gonna take the camera and explain what's going on. Basically got it lined up now for the most part. I just need to get it leveled so it's nice and flat. Alright guys, so the transmission is mounted to the engine. This is really cool because this little gizmo right here made it a lot easier to do this thing. So heads up, if you do end up doing something like this, that's the way to go. Now next step would be to put in the transmission mount, which is right there. I took it off when I was taking off the transmission, and the rest should be pretty straightforward from here. Alright guys, so I skipped this step mainly because you guys have already seen it, a lot of the putting back and taking off stuff. So everything is put back together, including the shifter and everything inside. I do need to clean it up a little bit. I have some metal shavings on the floor. I haven't put back the bumper because I wanna, well, let me show you guys actually. I wanna clean this up a little bit right here and probably do some actual silver paint on there, or possibly wrap it. I haven't done any silver wrapping, so I might give that a go. Now unfortunately I won't be able to take it for a test drive It's been kind of raining lately, and it's gonna be raining for like the next week, which is kind of odd for California. Usually it's pretty sunny during this time. Oh, you know what? Let me show you guys this one. I didn't videotape this, but I just drilled a hole in the bottom and then kind of add this little bracket. And it's good because you could actually open this up all the way. Might be better if I just show you guys. Push the hood back, push this up, and there you go. Now downside is that I gotta carry this thing around, but it's alright. Now I might convert this to a hydraulic later on. Doesn't weigh that much, right? So we'll see, because I might actually not go with this hood. I might go with a fiberglass hood or possibly carbon fiber, but that means I don't want to cut into that, so there's a chance I might relocate hood exit exhaust. I'm thinking that I might be able to like kind of make it go like around and then out this side right here. Now the upside to that is, one, I don't have to drill into the hood, which would be a carbon fiber or fiberglass hood. The other part is I'd be able to vent on the side here, and that'll actually be a good time to probably do a wide body in the front, or at least a fender flare of some sort, because I really want to get that installed. Alright guys, so that is gonna be it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.